If you really want to save money, believe it or not, there's free plants in virtually every garden in Australia. For instance, here there's all sorts of plants we can just chop up and we can use them elsewhere in the garden, so you've got free plants. They could be sold at the local fete or whatever. There's 1,000 uses for all sorts of plants. In the back there's some of the wonderful old-fashioned cast iron plants, aspidistras, and also look at this thing. It's sort of one of the things referred to as a zebra plant. It's a calathea, and that too just clumps up and you chop it up. You need one implement, a sharpened spade. Just simply spade them apart. And all of these clumps, you just simply chop it around. This is a sort of tropical plant, not for the cooler zones of Australia, but gee whiz, it's got pretty foliage. Simple as that. After we dug these plants out of the garden, we sat them in a bucket of water. It's always a good idea just until you're ready to deal with them. These do tend to curl. If you actually look at some of these, see how the leaves are curling? That's just sort of moisture stress from them having been dug out. That's not a problem. They will open out again once they settle in. Now, I will trim more off, but for the moment I just want to start potting these up and see how they look. These nice little free plants. Now, it's starting to look interesting. This is the bit where you've got to be very careful. What I'm going to try and do is cut out these bits that were burnt from where it was growing in the ground. They're sort of old leaves, but my goodness, you'd want to be careful you don't cut out the wrong leaf. Equally, you've got to know when to stop. Just ripped out of a garden like this, it's not going to be perfect initially. And in fact, I should mention, having been cut out unceremoniously from the garden, this pot will go backwards before it comes on. In other words, these plants won't look as good as they do now in a week, but in 4 or 5 weeks they should look awesome. To me, this is like a miniature grove of bamboo. What I love about this plant, Calathea zebrina for the zebra stripes, this particular plant is great in the non-frosty areas of Australia, outdoors in a shaded position. But this is also quite a good indoor plant in a brightly lit position. The plants were free, just spaded them off from a garden. Potting mix, there's probably less than $1 worth of potting mix in that because we bought it in bulk. The pot was $28 and a little bit of paint. I love this effect, all on the cheap.